No.
Okay, well, I'm going to zoom it a little bit. It says we will factor quadratics in the form x squared plus bx plus c. So basically standard form. So the first part is a little bit of vocabulary and just thinking about where you've heard the word factor before. So in your real life, sometimes when people are talking about making a big decision, they'll talk about the factors that went into their decision, the key factors that they were considering in making a decision. Another place you might hear the word factor is just anything that goes into something. Okay, a factor is a part of something.
Yeah.
So in math, it means it divides into it. So to understand patterns, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to multiply each one of these binomial pairs. Okay, so let me zoom that back in. This first one on the left is going to be x squared. And then we have 6x, 5x, and 30, right? So then we have x squared plus 11x plus 30. All right, the next one would be x squared minus 6x plus 5x minus 30. That is, what's that middle term? Wow. And then the last one, these are both minuses. So now we have x squared minus 6x minus 5x plus 30. And then that becomes negative 6 and negative 5 makes negative 11x. So let's look for patterns now. Let me zoom you back out. So this had plus, plus, and what is 5 plus 6? 11. So you see that pattern? And then 5 times 6 is 30. Now let's look at this one. Positive 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. Positive 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Negative 5 times negative 6 is positive 30. Negative 5 minus 6 is negative 11. So if we were going to talk about patterns, we could say that in all of these, it starts with x squared, and that x squared is coming from x times x. So the first term comes from the first times first. The first one in each parentheses times the other one. Then the middle term of your answer, here, let's highlight this. The first term comes from this times this, right? Okay. The middle term, which is this, that came from, well, it came directly from these two things, but you could really think of just taking the 5 and the 6 and putting an x with it, right?
Right.
So if you add, I'm going to call those the last. If you call this the first term in each parentheses, I'm going to call these orange ones the last. So last plus last times x. So 5 plus 6 times x. And then the pattern on the last one, that's just this times this. last times last.
Mm.
Okay, so if we want to do this ourselves, we're going to have to work this whole process backwards. So that means you have to look at the last number and figure out numbers that multiplied together to give you that, but they also add together to give you that number. So 5 and 6 multiply to 30, but they add to 11. Okay, so let's do some more problems. So if we were trying to factor x squared plus 18x plus 45, we would need to know numbers that have a sum of 18, but a product of 45, right? So over to the side, I write a plus sign 45, and I just start listing factors of 45. But I'm going to look at what their sum is, because the sum of the factors gives you that number. So I'm going to go 1 plus 45. That's 46. That's not 18. I'm looking for 18. The whole time I do this, I need to look for 18. And then 45 does not divide by 2 because it's an odd number. So the next number I can try is 3. 45 divided by 3 is 15. So if I put 3 plus 15 here, that's the 18 that we want. So that's it. So the two numbers that have a product of positive 45 and a sum of 18 are 3 and 15. Now what I do is I take those and I turn those into the factors. And there it is. And if I remultiply this, I can get the right answer. So should get the thing I started with. So let's check. X times X is X squared. X times 15 is 15X. 3 times X is 3X. 3 times 15 is 45. And this makes 18X in the middle. So yeah, that's the right answer. So this is the answer. These are the factors. Everything underneath here was just me checking to make sure that that's the right answer. Do you remember doing this before in Algebra 1? Good. All right, now we're going to do one that has a minus sign in it. So let me zoom this. Okay, so that's the one you're working on, negative 36. Is it too big or is that a good size? Okay. So if it's the negative sign on the 36, then instead of having to add them, you have to subtract them. Whatever sign you have on that number, that's telling you what to do once you find the factors. So the one before was positive, so we added the factors. This one is negative, so we're going to subtract the factors. So first factors are 1 and 36. So 1 minus 36, that would be negative 35. But I'm trying to get a positive 5. Next, it divides by 2. 2 into 36 is 18. And if I do 2 minus 18, I still don't get 5, right? So next, I'm going to try something else. 3. 3 times 12 is 36. 3 minus 12 would be negative 9. So I still don't have the right numbers. Next, let's try 4. 4 times what is 36? 9, good. And then 4 minus 9 is negative 5. So have you noticed all these ones I'm doing are coming out negative? because this first number is the small number and this number is the bigger number.
Yeah.
So if I want to turn this into +5 instead of -5, I could just switch the order and I can make it 9 minus 4 instead of 4 minus 9. And then that will be +5 instead of -5. So let me just check this now. 9 times -4 would give me -36. And 9 plus -4 gives me +5. So my two numbers are 9 and -4. So I make my factors with +9, -4.
Yeah.
And I can remultiply it to check if I want. I can do x times x is x squared. X times -4 is -4x. 9, -36. And it's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what the lesson was all about today. That was the lesson, just how to factor. So some of them in our practice are going to have a number in front. So let me pull up the practice. These problems are kind of tiny. I'm going to have to zoom them, and they're probably going to look terrible after I zoom them. Yeah, they don't look great. I'll probably just rewrite them over here where there's space. X squared minus 3x minus 4. So the last term is -4. So that means I need -4 has to be factored. So -4 has factors of 1 and 4, and I'm going to subtract them. What's 1 minus 4? -3, right? So that's what I needed because my middle term was -3. So this is the answer. So this is x plus 1 times x minus 4. Done. All right, let's go to the next one. This one says, I'm going to use x. X squared minus 5x plus 4. This is still kind of easy because it's a +4. So 1 times 4 is 4, and 1 plus 4 is 5. But this says -5. So what do I do to get negative out of this?
1.
Good. So if I do -1 plus +4, I won't get it. What do I have to do?
1.
Negative plus -4, right? And then both of them have to be negative to get a -5. X minus 1, x minus 4. There you go. Right? Okay, next problem. How about this one? Okay. So again, I'm going to write it bigger. It's x squared minus 3x minus 10. So we're working. Good. So then what are the factors of -10? 1 minus 10 is just 9. So that's not it because this is a 3. Then 2 minus 5 is 2 minus 5, -3. Yep. So then this is the right thing. So it's x plus 2, x minus 5. And that's it. Pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
Let me move on to something that's more difficult. Now, what if they have a number in front of the first variable? So this one, I think you can kind of read this. It's a little small, but it says 2m squared minus 4m minus 30. Can you read that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see there's a 2 in front. We're going to put 2 parentheses and divide it out. So it's like the opposite of distributive property. We're going to divide 2 out of every term. M squared minus 2m minus 15. So now what we do is we work on this problem that's inside of these parentheses, just like the other ones that we've been doing. And we just keep the 2 in front of our final answer. So basically this 2 has to keep coming down every time we do another step. So negative 15 is the number that we need factors of. And we're looking for a sum of negative 2. So 1 minus 15 is not going to do it. And the next factors are 3 and 5. And 3 minus 5 does it. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So that's what I want. So now I carry down the 2 before the parentheses. And I put m plus 3 and m minus 5. And that's my answer.
Yeah.
Let's do another one of those. All right, let's do this one. This one says
Yeah.
it has a 5 in front. Do you see that?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, so we're gonna, huh? My goodness, you said a lot of words, a lot, really fast. Oh, in front of the parentheses, yes. T squared minus, what will the second term be after I divide 5 out of it? Good. And then plus 1. So now this is going to be easy because there's the only factors of 1 are 1, right? So for this thing, 1 and 1. So it's going to be 5 parentheses t with 1 and t with another 1. Now, should these be positive ones or negative ones? So if they're both pluses, then 1 times 1 is 1, but 1 plus 1 would be positive 2, not negative 2. If I make one of them negative, then their product will be negative 1, not positive 1. So I have to make both of them negative to get negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. And negative 1 plus negative 1 is negative 2. So there's my answer. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one. I think I'm going to rewrite this because I think this one is kind of hard to read. It says, I'm going to use x's. Negative x squared minus 15x plus 90. So that negative in front is like a negative 1 times. So we have to divide it out. So we're going to reverse distribute that. Negative 1 parentheses, x squared. If I divide negative 1, what does it do to the negative 15x? Good. So basically, it's just changing the signs, right? Okay, so I changed all of the signs. So now I have to keep writing negative 1 in front, but I'm going to work this problem in the parentheses. So I need factors of negative 90. So 1 minus 90 is not going to come out with 15, is it? That's not going to work because that's going to be 89. Then 2 times 45. Those numbers are still too far apart. 3 times 30, that would give me 27. So we're getting closer. It does not divide by 4. And then it's 5 times 18. Oh, we're getting really close now because that's 13. And then it's 6 times 15. Oh, no, I don't know what's going on with this problem. How are we going to get positive? Because if you do 6 minus 15, you get a 9. So the numbers are already too close together. You know what I mean? Did I skip one? I don't think I skipped one. It should have happened between 3 and 5, but 4 does not divide evenly into 90. So I think this is a problem that you can't solve. I think it's a typo. I think I typed the problem wrong when I wrote it. I wonder if it was a plus 15 if you could do it. I don't think so. Interesting.
Oh, what not? No.
Yeah, because the only way we could do it is if this had been a 13. Maybe that's what I was supposed to make it when I wrote the problem. Let's just do it with a 13 instead. So if it's 13, then it's 5 and 18, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I do positive 5 minus 18, I get negative 13. But that's no good because it's supposed to be a positive 13. So now what I have to do is change the signs on those two numbers and make it negative 5 and positive 18. Then it will be 18 minus 5 will be positive 13. So it's going to be x plus 18 and x minus 5 with a negative in front.
No, you don't want.
Yeah, thank you. That's really kind of the same thing, but you're right. It was negative 1. Okay, let's do number 15. Let's divide by 4. 48 divided by 4 is 12. And 108 divided by 4 is 27. So now we work the problem inside the parentheses. So positive 27. So we go 1 plus 27, and that's 28. So that's not the right number because we need a 12. It won't divide by 2. And then 3 times 9 is 27, and 3 plus 9 is positive 12. So how do I get to 12? I got to change my signs. Can I change the sign on just one number?
No.
No, because it'll be like subtracting if I do that. So the only way to make it like addition is to make them both negatives. So k minus 3, k minus 9. All right. One last problem. Ready? Let's do this one. 2 parentheses g squared minus, what do I get for this middle term? When I divide out the 2, what do I get? Good. Negative 3 g, and then 2 divided into negative 20 is negative 10. Okay. So over to the side, what do I write? Good. So 1 minus 10 is negative 9. That's not it because it's 3. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So that's it. So 2 parentheses g squared. Oops, I messed up. I'm sorry. G plus 2, g minus 5. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Whew. You feel like you got this?
Yeah.
Good. All right. So one last problem. We're going to do this one right here. So 2 parentheses, x squared plus 6 divided by 2, 3. I got to put my x on there. And then I have to divide 56 by 2, and that gives me negative 28. So I have negative 28. So 1 minus 28 is negative 27. Connor, are you okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So 1 minus 28 is not the right one. The next thing to try is 2. 2 minus 14 would be just 12. So that's not it. It does not divide by 3, but it divides by 4. 4 into 28 is 7. 4 minus 7 would be negative 3, not positive 3. I'm looking for positive 3. So what do I have to do? Good. So we're going to go with negative 4 and positive 7, changing both signs. So that's going to be 2 times x minus 4 and x plus 7. Okay. So that's it. That's our practice on factoring. And I'm going to go ahead and press stop. Okay. So this lesson is about something that is called grouping. We're going to factor quadratics by grouping. Connor, were you able to watch the video from the other day yet? Hmm?
I
You don't remember?
I'm not what I knew.
That's okay. So what we're about to do is totally different from the other day. So I don't think it will matter. I think it'll be okay. But the second part, it might matter. So we'll see. All right. So here's what we're about to do. These are the notes how to do it. It's really bright on the camera. Let me see if I can, maybe if I turn this light down. It's just very bright. Okay. The first thing is make 2 pairs. Factor the GCF out of each pair. Combine the numbers in front and check. So let me show you a problem. I think you're going to catch on to it. Okay. So I'm going to zoom on this one problem. It's just going to take a moment. Did it get focused for you?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So do you see the biggest difference right away is that now instead of having a trinomial with 3 terms, I have a quadrinomial or polynomial. It has 4 terms. And the way we do this is we make 2 pairs. Okay.
Yeah.
Then for each pair, we're going to factor out the common factor. So 2 and 10 have a common factor of 2. 2 divides into both of those. And then x squared and x are both divisible by just x. So this is kind of like the reverse of distributive property. You're going in reverse from what you usually do with distributive property. So now you need to think 2x times what gave you the 2x squared? X.
Uh,
And then 2x times what gives you 10x?
more.
So we're going to put a plus 5 here. Okay. So that is the first cluster. Now we're going to do the second cluster. What's a number that divides into 3 and 15?
More.
Well, 3. 3 divides into 3 and 3 divides into 15 5 times. So we're going to put a 3 here. And then 3 times x gives you 3x. And 3 times 5 gives you the 15. Oops, I wrote the wrong number. Sorry. So the next step is to notice that the two sets of parentheses, those two pairs of, they're binomials, right? They match. They're both x plus 5s. So you have a 2x times x plus 5 and a 3 times x plus 5. Well, we can take the 2x and the 3 and combine them together into 2x plus 3 all times x plus 5. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you're basically saying the 2x and the 3 were both multiplied times x plus 5. And that is what's called grouping. So let me read you through the steps again. Make 2 pairs, and that's what we did right here, right? We made 2 pairs. Factor the GCF out of each. So that was what I did when I thought, what number divides into 2 and 10, and what x divides into x squared and x? That gave me the 2x. So that's called factoring out the GCF when I divide this 2x out of that. And then out of this one, I divided the 3 out, right? And then the next thing it says is the resulting binomials will match, right? So that's really important. This needs to match that. Well, we're going to use that fact that those need to match. We're going to use that as our game changer secret weapon on all of the problems, okay? So let's do the next. So we have this pair and we have that pair. What number divides into 2 and 14?
Number.
Well, 2 into 14 is 7, but 2 is the number, right? Because 2 divides into 2. So you need 2. And then we want x. Now tell me what to write. 2x times what gives you 2x squared? Good. And then what about the other term? What about this? 2x times what gives me negative 14x? Nice job. And then we're going to do the next one, okay? Now, do you remember how I told you our secret weapon is that the parentheses are going to match? So I'm going to be sneaky now. I'm going to write the x minus 7 first. And I'm going to think to myself, what do I have to multiply x times to get negative x?
1.
Well, close. Negative 1, right?
-1.
Yeah. And then I just have to double check, does this work out to the same as that? And it does, because this will be negative x, and this would be positive 7, right? So now my parentheses match, and I can put together the 2x and the negative 1. And that's my answer, okay? So for sure, your secret weapon is that these match, because that helps you work the problem better. Okay, now we're going to do a few extra practice problems together, okay? So I know some words are kind of tough, like negative is a little bit tough, isn't it? So this problem has all positives in it, so we won't have to worry about saying negative. What number divides into 12 and 8?
Oh,
Good. So I'm going to put 4 with x, right? And tell me what goes inside here. Well, not just x, because I have to do 4 times what to get 12?
9.
I need to put a 3x there. Okay? Because 4 times 6 is 12. And then 4 times 2 is 8, so I'm going to put a 2 here. Okay? So now we're going to rewrite the secret weapon over here, 3x plus 2. And we're going to think, oh, well, this already matches that, so it's just plus 1, right? 1 times that.
Yeah.
And then 4x plus 1 goes all together, and we rewrite the 3x plus 2. All right, let's do another one. This is another one that's plus plus. So what number divides into? Yep, good job. And we're going to put 3 with x. So then that will be x plus, well, I have to do 3x into 6x. So what number will that be? Good. Well, it'll be 2, right? Now, this next one, I'm going to use my secret weapon. I'm going to put x plus 2. And I'm going to think, what do I have to multiply the x times to get 4x? And I have to go times 4. And then I just check, does 4x give me what I want here? That'll be 8. Yep, that works. So now I put together the 3x plus 4 times the x plus 2. All right, now we have to deal with negatives. So this starts off being a lot like the one we just did. It's going to divide by 3x, and that'll be just x. Then I need minus. Well, 3x into 6 is 6x, so 2, yeah. Then the next set of parentheses has to match the first one, so my secret weapon right there. And what does the x have to be multiplied times? -4. There you go. Then you double check, because negative signs can be tricky. So that gives you -4x, and it gives you +8, and that is wrong. 3x minus 4 times x minus 2. Done. All right, let's do, I'll do this one. So what number divides into 5 and 10?
No. No.
Here, I'm going to zoom that because it seems kind of tiny. Is that better? Okay, so we want 5x. And then this will be x. You keep trying to just tell me this number, but we have to divide the 5x into the 10x, right?
Yeah.
So 5x times what is 10x? 2. Good. See, like this is like a little multiplication problem we just made that has that answer, right? 5x times x is 5x squared. 5x times 2 is 10x. Okay. Now the next part, we match the parentheses. What number has to go in front? Plus 2. We check 2x plus 4, and that matches. So now what am I going to put in this set of parentheses here?
No.
I have to put those together, right?
Yeah.
5x plus 2 times x plus 2. I'm doing these two together here, and I'm doing these two there. Right? All right, let's do some more. We're going to do one more with a negative, okay? Okay. So what can I factor out of this one? Well, this just has a 1, so there's not really a common factor. So I'm just going to take out x, okay? Because there's not a number you could divide out, but you can still divide out the x. So that would give you x minus 4, because x times x would give you the x squared, and x times negative 4 would give you the negative 4x. Second set has to match the first set, secret weapon time. And we need a 6. Now, what do I put in my first set of parentheses? No. I got to put these two together.
Yeah.
The x and the plus 6. And then the x minus 4. Okay? You want to do one more, or do you think you got it?
More.
Okay. Let's do this one. What number divides into both 2 and 10? You're telling me what 2 divided into 10 is, but I'm asking what is a number that divides into 2 and it also divides into 10? 2. 5 does not divide into 2. 2 divides into 2, and 2 divides into 10. When you were telling me 5, you were telling me what I'm going to get after I divide by 2. Okay. So now the next thing's going to be x here, because 2x times x is 2x squared. And then this number times what would give us the 10x?
Man.
2 times what is 10? Right, so this needs to be 5. See, you're making a problem that has that answer up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to put the x plus 5 again. And what number goes in front of the x is the... Okay. So now what do I put in my first set of parentheses? Yeah, 2x plus 3, not squared. I'm putting this with this in the first set of parentheses.
Yeah.
And then the second one is just the x plus 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this one. What is a number that divides into both the 3 and the 6? 3 is divisible by 3. That's pretty much it. 3 divides into 3 and 6. So we start by dividing 3x out of it. So 3x times what is 3x squared?
Yeah.
Now, don't say 3x again. You've already got 3x. Think, what can I put right here? You don't need another 3 because you already have a 3. You just need to do something about the x. So that x times something gives you x squared. So you need another x here. Because when you multiply those two things, you'll get 3x squared. And then for the next term, 3x into 6x is 2. You're multiplying. Your brain is thinking backwards. You're stuck. We're not multiplying. We're factoring. So what we're trying to do is work backwards. We're trying to divide. Okay. Now we need another x plus 2 over here. And then since this is a negative x, I have to put a negative 1 here to make it into the problem.
Yeah.
Then I have to put the 3x with the negative 1 together. And x plus 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do this one. 2 and 3 do not have a common factor. They don't have a common number that factors into them. But this has x squared and x, so I can still divide the x out of both terms. So I'm going to write x parentheses and divide it out. So 2x squared divided by x, that's like x times what is 2x squared, okay? So that's going to give you this. You're just dividing the x out, okay? If you divide the x out of this one, you'll have minus 3.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, you think, okay, does this give me 2x squared? And does that give me negative 3x? And it does, okay? Then the next set of parentheses has to match the first one. So I'm going to rewrite the 2x minus 3. But for this one, I have to think, what number does the to be multiplied time to give me a negative 4x? Good job. Now I have to put this with that in the first set of parentheses. So x minus 2 times 2x minus 3. That should not be there. There's a minus sign.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it starting to feel like you understand?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Let's do one more. What number could divide into both of the 3's? 3, right? So we're going to put 3x. So 3x times what gave you the 3x squared?
Oh.
Just x. 3x times x is 3x squared.
Yeah.
And then the next part is 1. You need to put a 1 here. Okay? Because 3x times 1 gives you this 3x. Then we rewrite the x plus 1 to have our secret weapon that matches. And then this says negative 10 up here. So we have to put negative 10 in front to get a negative 10x out of the next pair. And we just check it. This gives us negative 10x and negative 10. And that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to put it together. Three x minus 10 times x plus 1. Okay, so that's the first half, and we're right at 6:30, so that's a good job. So do you want me to go ahead and keep going with the video, or do you want it to be a separate video, the second half? Okay, so here's the second half. So everything we've done so far is called grouping. Now we're going to do something called the AC method. And it's kind of a two-part method. The first part involves A times C. The second part involves the grouping that you just learned. All right, here are the notes for that. So to do the AC method, the first thing you have to do is you have to multiply your A times your C. So for the first problem that we do, we're going to do 7r squared minus 25r. Okay, I'll put it where you can see. Just a second. Okay, there's the problem. 7r squared minus 25r plus 12. So this is my A, this is my B, this is my C, right?
Yeah.
So for the AC method, the first thing you do is you multiply A times C. And if you multiply A times C, that's 7 times 12, and that's 84. Now, the next thing you have to do is you have to list factors of 84, and those factors have to have a sum of 25. Okay? So the first factor of 84 would be 1. 1 times 84, if I add that, that's not going to be 25. So I could kind of jump ahead a little bit. Why don't I go down to like 4? Because I know it's not going to be close to the beginning. So if I do 4, oh, that's actually it. 4 into 84 is 21. And 4 plus 21 is 25. Okay? So I'm not sure if you understand why I jumped ahead, but it's because I knew that if I did 2 times 42, well, the 2 plus 42 part of that would be just like 44, and the number would be too big still. So that's why I jumped ahead, okay? So 4 times 21 is 84, and 4 plus 21 is 25. And that's important because the middle term is 25, okay? So let me just help you track down where everything goes. When you do A times C, the AC number is what you're looking for factors of. And you start listing the factors until you get to a pair that has a sum that matches this number. And that's what we have right here. Okay, we have a sum of 25. Now, what you do with that information is you use it to split this 25 into 2 terms. And once you split it, then it will become a grouping problem like what we were doing a few minutes ago. Because once you split this, you will have 4 terms. Okay? So we have one more little hurdle. See how this is a positive 25 and that's a negative 25. So for this to be a negative 25, it needed to be negative 4 and negative 21 to give us negative 25. If we have negative times negative, it gives you positive product, and negative plus negative gives you negative sum. So this is a lot to think about. But anyway, these two numbers, they are what we're going to split the 25 into, a negative 4 and a negative 21. So we're going to rewrite the first part of the problem. You like x's better. I'll write it with x's. 7x squared, but I'll change this negative 25 to a negative 4 and negative 21. And then I'm going to bring down the plus 12. Okay. So all I've done is I've split the middle term into two separate terms. Okay.
Yeah.
But this still adds up to the same thing as that. Now, the reason I did it is because now I can do the grouping. 7 and 4 do not have a number that divides into them. So I just write x, and then I write 7x minus 4, because that's what it is, right? I'm just taking the x out. Then on the next part, the parentheses have to match, because this is what we've been doing, right, with the grouping. So those parentheses match. Now I have to think, what does 7 get multiplied times for us to have that negative 21 up there? And that is negative 3. Yep. And that's going to work out because look, negative 3 times 7 is negative 21. And negative 3 times negative 4 is positive 12.
Yeah.
Now we're almost done. Now we do that thing where we put this one with that one in the same parentheses. And 7x minus 4 in the last set of parentheses. And that is the final answer. That is the factored form of this polynomial that we started with. So here's the whole problem on one screen. I'm going to zoom it down a little bit just so I can review it with you. So here was the original problem. To do the AC method, what you do is you multiply the A times the C. That gives you a number that you put over here to the side, and you start listing the factors.
Yeah.
Then when you get to the factors that have the same number as the middle term or their sum, when you add them together, then you just check your signs to make your signs match. And you use those numbers to split up the middle term into those two numbers.
Yeah.
Then after you split it, you do that grouping that we just learned how to do earlier. Okay, let's do another one. 3r squared plus 16r minus 12. So A times C is negative 36. And when the number is negative, I don't know if you remember this from Monday, but when the number is negative there, we have to subtract. Instead of adding like this one was, we're going to be subtracting factors.
Yeah.
So first thing we have is 1 minus 36, but we're looking for an answer of 16. Next, we have 2 minus 18. Well, 2 minus 18 is negative 16, isn't it? But I want positive 16. So this is the moment when we switch the signs. We'll change both of these signs and we'll write negative 2 plus 18. And that's like 18 minus 2, so that is 16. So this is what we want. So now we split the 16R. I guess I shouldn't have written R. You like X's. Now we're going to split the 16X into a negative 2X and a positive 18X. There we go. So I brought this down, I brought that down, and I split that. Now we have to do our grouping. Group this, group that. There is no number that divides into 2 and 3, so I'm just going to divide out X. That will bring this down to 3X minus 2, because I'm just dividing the X out and not the numbers out. Then here, what's the number that divides into 18 and 12, Connor? Do you know? Good, 6. So we're going to write 6, but remember we can use our secret weapon and put the 3x minus 2 first, just to be sure we get the signs right. So 3x times 6 is 18. So that's the right number, and it needs to be positive. Then we put the x with the plus 6, and we write x plus 6 times 3x minus 2, and that's our answer. Those are the factors of this polynomial. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, we need to do a few more. So let's do this one. 5x squared plus 33x. Oh, those numbers are big. Let me do a different one. 2n squared. So I'm going to write x is 2x squared minus 5x minus 25. Okay, so A times C is negative 50, because 2 times 25 is 50. So I need factors of 50 that give me this 5, right? And I have to subtract because this is a negative sign. So 1 minus 50 would be negative 49. That's no good. 2 minus 50 would be, oh, just kidding. 2 minus 25. 2 times 25 is 50. 2 minus 25 would be negative 23. That's no good. 50 does not divide by 3. 50 divided by 4 is not an even number. So the next thing I can try is 5. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 minus 10 is negative 5, right?
Yeah.
So I know I got the right numbers. This gave me the right numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write 2x squared plus 5x minus 10x minus 25. So this part here in the middle was replacing the negative 5x, and it was splitting it up using the numbers we found.
Oh my word. No.
Nope, I'm not going to combine like terms. If I combine like terms, that's going to give me this up here. Split it up on purpose because I'm going to do grouping.
Yeah.
So we're going to take out, in the first pair, there's no number that divides into 2 and 5, so we can only take out x. So this will be 2x plus 5, because x times 2x is 2x squared, and x times 5 is 5x. Then the next set of parentheses have to match. What number times 2x will give me negative 10x?
Negative 5.
Nice. And then that works. So now we go x minus 5 times 2x plus 5.
Yeah.
Let's do one more. All right, let me find one that doesn't have huge numbers. Okay, I think I found one that's going to work for us. 5x squared plus 33x plus 40. Ooh. Okay. So A times C is 5 times 40, and that is 200. And it's positive. So positive times positive gave us a positive 200. That means when we go list our factors, instead of subtracting them this time, we're going to add them.
Yeah.
So 1 plus 200 would be 201, and that is not 33. 2 times 100 gives you 200, and 2 plus 100 is not 33. 3 won't divide into 200. 4 is the next number you can use. That would be 4 times 50. 4 times 50 gives you 200. 4 plus 50 does not give you 33. 4 plus 50 would be 54. Next one, 5 times 40. We're getting closer. 5 times 40 is 200. 5 plus 40 is 45. The next thing we can try is 6, but that won't divide evenly. 7 won't divide evenly. 8 will. So 200 divided by 8 is 25. 8 times 25 is 200, and 8 plus 25 is 33. And that's the number we want. So now we're going to split the 33 into an 8 and a 25, okay? So 8x and 25x. Carry down the 40, carry down the 5x squared.
Yeah.
Now we're going to do grouping. There's no number for 5 and 8. There's nothing that divides into that. So I'm going to divide out x. That'll be 5x plus 8.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to make my second set match my first set. Secret weapon. What number times 5 is 25?
5.
And then we make these match. Or we put them together, I mean. And then we put the other set. The other binomial is the one that matches. That's your answer. Those problems are really tough, huh, Connor?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is as tough as it gets. This is very complicated factoring. So we've done 4 of these plus like 10 of the other kind. I think it's probably a good time to stop. And I want you to try to rewatch this video later, okay? Here, let me press stop.